Yeah, hi Venkata. Hello. Yeah, hi Venkata. Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello. Are you able to hear me?
I cannot hear you.
Yeah, but I can hear you. Am I audible now? Hello. 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 Yeah, hello.
Yeah, I'm able to hear you now.
You can hear me now, right?
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay, Venkat. So, can you give your short introduction? What kind of experience you have as a backend developer?
Yeah. So right now I'm working for Georgia Department of Labor. So this is completely on Spring, with
Yeah.
front is as Angular. So we are using Angular 21 and J and the Java version is 17 and all Spring 5 and with Hibernate, as some of them are with Hibernate integrations and some of them are with JPS, and we have both Postgres and DB2. So for conventional and monolithic, we have still DB2, but for AWS we are using Postgres. So with the Postgres, and in the cloud we are deployed everything. It means using Angular and Spring Boot. So I mean it's a, it's a migration completely. We are migrating from standard AWS, monolithic to AWS. So we have standard WebSphere, everything, where we have a standard EAS deployment, and uh, that we are slowly moving to microservices. So that is what my current technical stack is.
Okay. So, how many years of experience you have with Java?
Yeah, Java almost 22 plus years. Right from the beginning, I'm with Java only. Almost 20. From 2000, I'm working in Java.
So, you are also still hands-on with the things, coding,
Yes. I'm still hands-on.
design and development, debugging, production
Yes,
issues.
yes.
Okay. And what about Spring Boot? How much experience you have in Spring
Spring Boot
ecosystem?
almost yeah. See, almost more than 10 years. I'm with Spring actually. I worked earlier with Spring MVC. So we have a completely Spring MVC development, and we have Spring batches where we need to do all the, because we have a couple of batches that needs to run daily, like emails and data updates, and so some doing some transactions and SFTP transfers, and so that there we have used the complete Spring batch, and we have Spring MVC where I told you, right, we have completely a EAS with all the standard Spring MVC and JSPs and controllers and all. So all these are deployed into WebSphere with DB2 and Hibernate as a backend. So now we are some of the already in the production now. So into AWS cloud. So with Spring Boot and Angular. So all our front end will be on Angular with Postgres as our database.
Right. So you also have experience with like designing, like low-level
Yes.
design,
Yes.
database schema design, not complex.
Yes.
Can you give me any instance where you have done end-to-end design, API design to from database design, business entities?
Yes. So basically, a couple of applications where self, we have a self-service application which is completely on Spring MVC. So that is what I where it needs to be give all these details, credentials, and apart from that, it has to have a certain relationships with other tables. So it is some completely it's a one to many. So we need to have completely how to design a main table, and with the one main data that needs, because it should be standardization. So instead of giving all the fields in one table, and so those type of normalizations I work. So how to protect, if any child table is what I can say, is having updated, that needs to refer in the main table. And if there is any parent table is data is needs to be deleted, then it has to do, because I worked on the some jobs where the data needs to be deleted, and that has to go to eventually to a an archive tables. So there, first we'll perform a completely a data migration, then we'll refresh the main tables. So there is a CA log D and a CA log. CA log is the main means where actually all the transactions will be there, whereas the CA log D is a daily table where that needs to be refreshed. So we need to implement the cascade all, so that whatever the tables dependent the tables that needs to delete, that means if there is any a main table is having any data that has relation with the child table, you cannot delete that unless until the child tables are clear. So these type of implementations I worked in.
Okay. Do you have experience with microservices architecture also?
Yes. I work with the microservices mostly. I work means we have uh, like you know basically we have two approaches here actually. For the self service, we will not give any self service is something where user has to come into the any kiosk, any career center, and he has to give all his details, and he needs to submit his claim. Unless until the claim is processed, we cannot update anything in our systems. So what we followed is a epic. So what we do is whenever there are each transaction that will be processed behind the scenes, and we'll have a messaging queues, where this user details will be processed. And if unless until the all the all the transactions, his user, it's like a user registration. So his address is not valid, or whatever
All
his
right.
bank details.
What are key challenges in microservices? What are the key challenges in a microservice
uh
architecture?
key key challenges in the microservices means, see, basically if you follow a standard monolithic, you will have multiple transactions. But whereas microservices means it will be like a single transaction, maybe basing on either a business unit, or a database per call or something like. So which is only a single transactions. So if you are designing two microservices, there should be communication between these two. So means, say suppose I'm creating one microservices to create a what I can say, in your real world, say an SSN, and his first name and last name. And and if there is a second microservices where his SSN is related to any tax documents. So if something updated in tax, this has to reflect on his in his profile. So this communication should happen. So there should be communication. That's the first thing, and that should be sync up also. So either maybe asynchronous or an asynchronous. So basically, if you are using any asynchronous, I can suggest any messaging like a Kafka, or maybe a
All right.
temporary database.
How do you handle distributed transactions in microservices?
Yeah. So in the distributed, so how you can do is, if you are using a single microservices, and if you are doing a multiple distributed, you need to check how your transactions are happening. It's in a how that isolation levels are happening, like whether you need any required always a new transaction or you need to continue the same transaction. That is where the challenge will be, especially when you are performing like a sequence of operations. Say suppose I'm having three microservices which are interlinked. So if one microservices failed, I need to revert it back to the original one. So basing on each microservices call, that needs to be either record into a common file or some database or some queue, so that basing on the first transaction only, the second transaction will work. If something fails, you need to revert that. So that is where the epic or microservices will come into picture.
And have you also worked with like very cloud services, AWS, Azure, or something?
Sorry, can you please can
Have
you
you
please
also
repeat?
worked with AWS cloud or something?
Yes. So I worked with AWS cloud with all our Springboot, and initially we had a for our development and all, we push everything Angular into our S3, but now we are into completely onto EC2. So we have a Docker images that will be pushed into there, and we'll build all our whatever the Spring Boot and Angular.
Okay, so you also know about the serverless architecture lambda function also, right?
Yes. So serverless means lambdas, not really, because we have that is the plan actually. We have not into that phase actually. Means I know how a lambdas
So
will
any
be.
idea like you have like how will you choose for your backend service either a lambda or will you go with EC2? How do you
Yeah.
decide?
So yes. So basically, if it is something like EC2 means where you need to completely define how much will be the memory, and and how much is the utilization and all. So if it is something where you have, say suppose a scheduled jobs which will run monthly once, and you need to use only during that time, or maybe a process that will run only a certain times. So then you can go for a lambdas, so that you know how much memory you need to use, and how much utilization will be there. So if you're having a standard what I can say, a regular web development, or transactions, then you can go for an EC2. EC2 will be where you'll have like you can stack up horizontally, whereas means giving you more instances, and a load balancing and all. Whereas for lambdas, I showed you means if you want to have perform a quarterly job which will run, then only you will give the resources. So you will give the resources, and then you will run that one.
What is your exposure to like handling like different security threats? Like talk about say for a web application or RESTful API. Are you aware of OS top 10 common security threats and
Security threats. So means I'm not
what are
sure of
what
that.
all are security threats you are aware like CSR, XSS, others? Are you aware of those threats?
No. Basically, okay. So means here, all our APIs are basically we have a basic authentication and a JWT authentication. So even it, any API call is unless until it is authenticated, we cannot do that. And second one is all are configured through API gateways only. So means the vulnerabilities and securities, means honestly, I need to dig into that, but I don't
Okay,
know so much.
how do you handle stateless login logout through Angular front end and REST API backend? So how do you
Can you
handle login logout at both front end and back end?
Okay, so login and log out. So basically, if you are using any what I can say in an Angular, so you need to have a JAWS token. So whenever you are calling the first, like that has to send us a JAWS token that needs to be authenticated. Maybe where you using the username and the password, so that you will get a JWT token. That will be easier whenever you are making an API call. You need to give in the headers, so that's whenever you are using an Angular with a HTTP request, you need to have that token, so that your calls will be authenticated. Unless until you have a token, you means your backend should not be processed at all. So where it needs to be in the HTTP auth, in the uh, one second, it is in the security, in the backend. Yeah, you need to configure that.
So how do you manage session in Angular side? If suppose
uh
access token expires after 15 minutes, 10 minutes, or 20 minutes.
yes. Okay, so you want to, yeah, okay, sections in the Angular. So basically, you will have an object with the session storage, and you will try to set that. So that is where you will have all the, the Angular object can be set. So you want to have a specific time for a session, if there is any idle, you mean to say, or uh, because there will be a conditions where you can have an idle, if it is something, there is no transactions, or
Yeah,
anything is not.
inactivity timeout happens.
Yes, yes, yes. If there is any, if there is no inactivity, then you can say that, maybe a mouse move or key down or click, or no, some of them. So if it is something like that, then I can destroy that destroy that session.
All right, can you
Because
share your screen? I will give you one small coding assignment, very basic problem. Okay,
second,
share your
you
screen.
want
And you can use any online compiler or something.
online compiler? Give me a minute.
Google it, online Java compiler.
What is that online?
Java compiler. Open the first one.
Online Java compiler. Codex.
Yeah, share your screen first.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One second.
Entire screen.
Okay. And are you able to see my screen, right? Yeah.
Yeah, now I go to chat. I have given you one simple problem based on screen. To understand, if you don't have any doubt on this.
You are sending something? Yeah.
Yeah, already I have given in the chat. So go to chat option
One
is there.
second.
Click on hide. Behind that it is hidden. Click on hide here.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's
Given two strings. S1 is a subsequence of S2.
You don't have to bother about cases of character. It is case insensitive. Okay. So you can assume like both the strings are in lowercase. Try to understand the problem and write whatever approach.
So means okay. So you have S2.
I have given you one example with your name. Suppose S2, if I take Venkat, right? I think your name, AI miss, suppose Venkat it is, then even if I pass VAT, right, it should be true.
No, one second. So
Well, I try to understand. I have given you many examples. If at all any
no.
doubt,
I understand.
you understood the problem, right? What needs to be done? Not
So
only how it needs to be done should be the question, but what is the problem statement you understood, right?
if the substring contains all the like characters which are in the S2, then it should be fine, right?
On the same order also,
Order also?
obviously. Like if I
Yes.
take S2 as Venkata, then if I pass VAT, it should be true. But if I pass TAV, it should be false.
So okay. Then it means I understand. Like see here, contains will work, right? Why we need to S2 dot contains?
All right, you can go ahead and try your logic. Then we can test with you.
Contains C.
Whatever approach coming to your mind, you go ahead.
Yes.
Take your time.
Cool, right? If it is
But why are you changing the input? This anyway
no.
Java method will give it. Take S1
Yeah,
as
that's what. No. What I'm saying is, if S2 contains S1, that is very simple. Means I don't know, like because we are not. That's what I'm saying. KUAM. If I say KAM, it's false.
But I want to make like something like KMR also true. That's the whole point of the problem. Right? You have to write a
K
special type of yeah
K
KAR KAR also should be true. Java
that is
contains
what
will not. That is the point of the problem, right?
I'm asking. The sequence should be there or no sequence? Okay. Then I need to write a specific logic again. Okay, give me a minute.
Sequence is important, but continuity is not important. Like Java substring. So it is not like Java substring check. It is a kind of, we say it's subsequence. The definition of subsequence is given in the problem statement. That's
Okay,
why I
so
don't know whether you understood the problem or not.
so KAR should be true.
Why should be true?
Okay.
Because all KA are present in Kumar and also in the right order. K is before A is before R, right? But if I
Okay.
pass RAK, it should be false.
Okay.
But using Java inbuilt method, you cannot do it, right? Java contains will give Kumar
Yes. Only exact sequence.
Kumar dot
It will not.
contains K. or KU, KUM, or UM, or MA, or MAR. That's the whole crux of the problem, right?
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
special type of contents you have to make it. With any approach, any logic, no matter it is brute force, however inefficient it might be in terms of time and space, that is the different thing. Later on, we can discuss the optimization. Try to satisfy the logic.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it will take time. 1 second. There are some streams, but I'm not. That is not coming into my mind right now. But
No, stream methods also will not help that much here. It can be done in 4 or 5 ways logically. Yeah, the same logic will be satisfied through string functions. That is fine. But yeah, writing in a traditional Java also,
yes,
string is not will give any advantage here. Not even like reducing code size or in terms of any lazy processing. So using string is will not do any kind of like improvement. What I think of this problem.
let me iterate this. Okay.
All right, Kumar, can you try this problem? I have given a low severity problem. Try to solve this one. Give another problem in the chat.
Okay, you have given one more. Yeah, it will see. Basically, logic will be. I need to iterate the first, S1, and then I'm giving the overall logic, and I
Mhm.
need to compare S2, and if the first one is fine, I'll try to continue, and if it is not there at all, then there is no point at all. So I'll break it. And if the second one is there, I'll try to see where is that index. Okay,
Mhm.
if it is this index is already having I'll compare the existing index, and if it is there, that is fine. If it is the
So you
broken,
are going to write any nested loop, another for
yes,
loop inside this for loop.
yes, yes.
Okay,
So
and
first
then
I'll compare
mhm,
here, and then
you will add another for loop, na, inside for loop. But fine. Just tell me. No need to write. So
so yeah. So
after this
what I
for
will
loop
do,
at line 12, you will write another for loop, right? Inner loop also.
yes, so like this, I'll check it, and I'll see whether this character is there or not, and I'll see that
No,
I'll
no,
get that
just
I.
go one by one. You have written one for loop. You are traversing over the length of the S1, smaller string. So we are
Yes,
checking S1's presence in the S2 in a special manner. All right, this is the
correct,
point I understood.
correct.
So you are
Yes,
traversing the small string. Ideal case
yes,
means it can be if it S1 is at all bigger than S2, then there is no point checking that. We can simply
correct,
return. That is the edge case. So this is
correct.
the normal case. So you are traversing on the smaller string. Okay. Then you
Yes.
will use another for loop inside that.
No. I will not use any for loop again because
Okay.
this is the main one, and I'll compare this. I'll
Okay.
compare this,
Hmm.
and I'm just checking this. So
So how will you keep track of the movement in S2? That's what I try to know, right? How
yes,
will you?
that's what I'm saying. So
Now you're using a temp variable.
temp index.
Mhm.
Okay. So what I'll do is I'll give this temp index here. So say suppose I will have k here. Okay, and my temp index will be 0. I mean the first one, whatever it is, and I'm iterating this. So I'll check a.
Let go ahead. What you
Yeah,
are saying, it doesn't seem to be much code then. All right. We'll execute test cases. Complete it then.
yeah.
Though I have given you another problem, but yeah, the way you are saying, I think you look confident. Just complete it then.
Yes. I'm trying to, because I need to make sure I'll not have any compiler issues. Dot. That's right. Character string dot s1 dot caret. Okay.
So when we do it, something like S2 dot contains, right?
Yeah,
So it is
index of. Yeah.
already you're changing things. All right, go ahead. Because using contains, like it will not maintain any order, right? Contains, it can check in the first, middle, last. By
Yes,
no way
yes,
it displays the order. It simply will contains.
yes. Yeah. So I'm getting the index basically. Okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay. Yeah, whatever you are traversing from I to the S1 and you are getting for every I, you will get the index in S1. What will you do with that index? Next to it will, yeah, it will have some index. Obviously, if it is present, if at all it becomes -1, so
yes,
that can
yes,
be returned. That is the edge case. But yeah, the happy
yes.
case.
So then
Ordering.
I'll try to see, and then temp index is equal to I. So basically what I'm doing is I'll check the index, and I'm giving that index to this. Okay. So let me see this. First thing, okay. I put all the logic, and let me see this. Okay. First thing. Yeah. So see here. Let me. Maybe I need to refine, but okay. So
It's like very complex, but okay, let us test. So is it satisfying all cases?
dot subset is
Doing line number 15 kit SQ dot index dot I.
no, this I cannot
Okay, that is the edge case, first one break. Okay. Then what is step type index is not zero. Customer decided okay. Index
KR. So and I'm doing a KGR.
don't go kill KGR. That is anyway not character processing.
subset.
Test
Okay.
with the input like KMR. Do it KMR.
1 second. Yeah. No. KMR also will work. Let me see this. KMR.
Should give true, right? Try to make a Boolean condition out of that. How will you make a Boolean condition? Return true or something. Just move that to a separate method. We will
Yeah,
call
1
from
second.
main method, right? True or false we should get. So that we will have more clarity on the logic, right?
Yeah. See, basically,
Try
I'm
to
trying to
return
get
a
this.
Boolean condition based on your program. You can do it, right? Whenever you are doing no, return false, else return true. Move your piece of logic to a different method. Write a method like public static Boolean my special contains or Venkata contains method. Okay, your proprietary contains string S1, S2. Return true or false.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
This
you got
compiler,
it right.
this compiler, I'm like,
All right, you can move it to IntelliJ or Eclipse, whatever.
fine. So, okay.
Your logic you can move there and just return as a Boolean instead of this manual system out. Just
Temp,
return Boolean and move the
if
logic
not
to a
equal
method.
to temple.
But your logic anyway is not working, na? KMR is it should not print no subset too, right? RAK is fine.
No.
If you try with any random string ABC characters itself not there. So we have to do testing
No,
also in the
1
right
second.
manner, right?
Okay, 1 second. 1 second.
All right, Venkata, you can try. You have tried it. It's fine.
That's fine. Okay.
Yeah, it's fine. The better way, what you are doing now, with this also, making it, you can do it. If you do it a little bit,
Means
think of it.
that is what the logic is. I need to
Yeah,
use
but the best
Boolean.
logic is to move the 2 pointers. If you see, right? So the kind of problem, right? If I have to move the all the zeros to the end, if suppose array is 10, 20, 30, 40, right? And I want my output 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, 0, 0, 0. How we solve that kind of problem? By moving 2 pointers together from the initial initial location.
Yeah, it's all
So
like, it's
similar
unit.
similar kind of thing we have to use there. All right, it's
Yeah.
fine. But what about your experience with multi-threading system, concurrency,
Yeah,
handling concurrency,
multi-threading
handling
means,
deadlocks in Java applications?
so multi-threading means I worked with thread pools. We have a thread pool in the Spring batches. We have thread pool executors where we'll have completely implemented that. So we'll have a concurrency, and we'll have a throttle, and then I used to work with that.
Suppose I give you a use case. You have a very large integer array. Okay. Suppose 1 million,
Okay.
1 million integers.
Okay.
Int array, integer array you have. You have to utilize 10 threads to calculate that sum of that array so that processing time, execution times come down instead of a linear loop, comes down one
Yes.
tenth of that. So how will you write that program in Java?
Basically, you need to do a chunks, and you need to see what will be the size and all. So basing on your reading file, or what is the chunk, and there you need to define that, and
Okay,
then
chunk is
basically
fine. I will assign 10 threads. I will assign 1 lakh element to each thread by array splitting with use of indexes and through
yeah
that taking what we call that ampersand. Using that, I can get the indexing, like hashing we use, right? Denominator we use, not getting
yeah
that divide and other thing. Remainder, using remainder and all, I can split that for 1 lakh element each or 10 array. So that each
okay
thread will calculate 1 lakh element. Then it will combine that result. So how you do that? So I am expecting like how the inter-thread communication will take. How will you ensure the data consistency so that the result when all the 10 lakh element process, how do you ensure the consistent result? So can you explain me with the traditional multi-threading way using runnable or using executor service?
No, no, that's not coming into my mind. I need to think that.
Yeah,
It's a
as per JD, yeah, I respect your experience level, but this JD is hands-on role.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Venkat. Nice talking to you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know. I need to sit and I need to do, but yeah,
You have to again get your hands dirty with the coding.
yes, yes. Okay. Thank you.